not even at the federal level, even the other government of the state government need to do more. Like I said earlier, that the service sector cannot give us the employment we are actually looking at. It cannot give us the production, the output we are actually looking at, because we need to look at the manufacturing sector, the MSME, empowering them. And in line with what Farouk actually said, a major problem in Nigeria is supply chain problem. I want to say supply chain problem. Items, movement of items from one place to the other. I could buy onion at 5,000 naira in Kebbi, but bringing the onion down to Abuja, it will cost more than the amount actually purchased the onion in Kebbi, and that will translate the transport costs, another sundry costs, into what I would sell outside, and that brings about why food and other things are getting expensive. If you also look at our inflation, the major thing that is pushing it forward is food inflation. So until we work on that supply chain to actually make sure that things become much more easier. He was making mention. He made mention of CNG. I actually converted my car some 9 months ago, with the hope that yes, it will reduce my cost of actually for energy. But lo and behold, yes, government is trying to build more, but I've abandoned it for the past 4 months.
Because you can't get...
Because I have to trade off at least 4 to 5 hours to actually get the gas. You can go around and check. So, and that actually affects the supply chain. So the cost of energy, when we say energy, we are looking at CNG, electricity, all these have to work on until we reduce that cost. Go and check the global economy. They are performing well. The secret is that they make sure that the cost of supply chain reduce very well, so that it will help manufacturing and other MSME to do business. If, as a private practice person, I have to pay more, for band A, as it were. In fact, if there is no electricity, I have to also look at way of getting, fuel to actually, power my what have you. Then in transport, I have to look at. So until we look at this, I'm sure that it's come down to barest minimum level.
And that's why you didn't mention solar, alternative energy sources.
It doesn't come cheap. For you to power a house, you might need 5,000. What do we call it? 5,000. What do we call it? Kilowatts. Understand? And to do that with the panel, with the inverter, you might be looking at 3.7 million, and you are expecting an MSME person to embark on that.
Kind of project.
So, and that's the problem. Remember, our energy, especially electricity, is still single source now. If I don't use a particular one that is in Abuja, is there anyone I can switch to? So until we have that competition and that alternative, so if we can work on our supply chain, it will help our economy very, and that still takes us back to CBN. Now, if you look at the NPR, I think it's 27.5%. Though we agree that maybe with the state of the economy now, they may not want to bring it down. They want to tarry a bit to see how things will turn out. But that's also what is affecting. As a businessman, I don't want to go to bank to borrow and pay 30%, interest. So I will be looking, how will I make profit? So let me rather go and keep that money back and also collect interest. Because a business person is supposed to be a rational person who will consider his profit and what have you. And that's why it also trickled down to employment. According to the methodology used by NBS, they said we have 4% unemployment rate. I think the method is maybe 1 hour per week compared to 20 hours that we used before. But you know that as a manufacturing company, if I do not have more money, to invest in a manufacturing, endeavor, I would not employ more. And that would have affected, and in the long run, it also affects the GDP itself. So that's why all this needs to be, it's holistic. Government needs to, work on all this so that we can actually, business can actually flow. Even the foreign direct investment, we also consider security, the inflation, the GDP, every other, metrics to come to the economy. So for me, I think we should do more, especially on that supply chain. That's why China is where they are. China have about 2 free trade zones in Nigeria. What are they trying to do? They're trying to make business much more easier for their people. So when you're doing business as a Chinese citizen, they make sure that everything that will make you to do all that cost, they make sure that it's become easy, and that's what we need to do more. And coming to Dangote, who actually embarked on getting a 4,000, I think it's a very, you can see the supply chain strategy. No, don't let me, create all this problem for myself. Let me make it easier for the buyer to actually buy from me. But he also can look at other multimodal mode of transportation to actually achieve that. It should not be only, truck, because our road also is suffering.
It's suffering, indeed. We need to look at infrastructural development. Yeah? Well, we'll take a break. When we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away.
All right, thank you for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria, where we've been discussing the implications and what it means for the economy, the rebasing